You can really feel energy back and forth from the audience. We appreciate that kind of response from people.
It's just wonderful to see them just come alive on the stage.
Whenever they react to something, it just makes it all the better, and you want to try all the harder.
When you get on stage, you're not you. You're Mildred, or you're Mrs. Peacock, or you're the preacher's wife.
I like the director to let me know what their vision is. Start from here and just come to a point to make the best possible production that we have.
Honestly, the only thing about theater that is limiting is your own mind.
My name is Gary Michael Mazzola. I'm the technical director of Tehachapi Community Theater Association, and I'm also one of the directors here and an actor. I joined in 1997, and I did The Odd Couple.
Were you Felix or Oscar?
Oh, I was Oscar. I was Oscar, definitely. I am Oscar. There are some really great actors in this group, and they really give everything they have to put on a good show. You can't do it for them. They have to do it themselves, but you can guide them and give them encouragement. They just do wonderful. We got a show right now, Clue, that's just, these actors are just, it's an incredible show. It's like the Carol Burnett show, you know, it's just funny as hell. And you know, when they make a mistake, if something goes wrong, they roll with it. And it's just wonderful to see them just come alive on the stage. It's just wonderful. And the audience just gets it completely. We have great audiences too. Yeah. We always have, though.
My name is Charles White. I'm president of the Tehachapi Heritage League, and as such have a lot of interest in knowing what happened in the early part of Tehachapi's history. And of course, as early as the late 1800s, there was an opera house here in town, upstairs over the Asher store. As early as 1916, Charlie Chaplin movies were being shown there. Moving forward to 1936, the BeeKay Theatre was built. It was built by Frank Baumgart and Louis Canstein. They were both former mayors of Tehachapi and local businessmen. They took the initials of their last names, Baumgart and Canstein, and named it the BeeKay Theatre.
I know little about Frank Baumgart. He didn't come to the theater. He was the partner. But Mr. Canstein, he was at the theater. Every time I went, he was there. I could walk to the movies, and I could walk home at night in perfect safety. It was only a block to my house. The movies changed 3 times a week. The really good movies were on the Sunday and Monday, and then in the middle of the week were the B movies, which were good, and then on the Friday and Saturday it was the Cowboys for the kids.
By the 70s, it was getting very run down, and by 80, it was closed for several years. And a local businessman, Les Duplan, bought it and turned it into a small boutique shopping center. After the shopping center closed, it became the Moose Lodge and was served in that purpose for several years until there was a fire that gutted the building. All the interior was gone. There was only this cement facade. You could look through where the door had been, and there was a tree that had grown in the middle, so it was almost like a courtyard. It was really an eyesore, and the city for years had tried to come up with a plan for it, and what they finally decided to do, they formed a partnership with the local community theater, TCT. They were able to use redevelopment funds to rebuild the BeeKay.
My name is Kenny Chugg. I'm the managing producer for Tehachapi Community Theater Association. We're sitting inside the BeeKay Theatre, a beautiful venue that TCTA rebuilt with cooperation of the city and massive donations from our public. Founder of Tehachapi Community Theater was John King. He would attend every single one of our shows before he passed. He always sat front row center.
TCT had their first production there after the renovation. That was Oliver, the musical. It was a very ambitious undertaking, but they did a very good job, and it was tremendously successful. And they've had great success ever since.
Hi, I'm Chris Morales, and I am the executive producer of the BeeKay Theatre, and I make sure that the theater makes money. Anybody that comes in here needs a plant, anybody that needs a table, anybody that needs to build, whatever you need, you got it now. And so that's what I do, problem solve, promote, whatever it is. I also act, direct, and produce as many shows as we can do at the BeeKay. When I first started, I was in Red Velvet Cake Wars, and I played a very neurotic woman by the name of Gaynell. And then I did Christmas Bells, which is a takeoff of that, and I played a pregnant woman named Frankie. And then I did my very first musical ever in my whole entire life, which was Young Frankenstein, and I played Igor. And that was a hootenanny, it was a kick in the pants, loved it. But I've also directed on Golden Pond, and I do a thing called T-Town Tonight, which is an off-the-cuff, completely improv show that has singers, dancers, comedians, musicians, you name it.
I have a gentle personality.
We do it at the BeeKay Theatre, and it's completely improvised. So it's really fun. The beauty about theater is that everybody is so different and so odd and so creative that the theater is like a giant umbrella or a giant hug. Anybody is welcome. All personalities are welcome, and the theater loves that. So if you think that you don't have the ability, or you're afraid, or you're stage fright, or all those kinds of things, you will literally never know that until you step on that stage.
To the dining room!
My name is Eric Lowe, and I'm the principal of Jacobson Middle School.
Really?
Yes. I went to the Hitching Post Theater, and before the movie starts, they always have slides that are up there on the screen, things about realtors and things like that. And one of them came up and it said, auditions for Clue on Stage, and I turned to my wife and said, I think I'm going to try out for that. And she looked at me like I had said something very strange, which I guess I had. For me, I've never acted before.
The guy who played Professor Plum, he was like sitting in the movie theater. He was telling us backstage one night, he was sitting in the movie theater and saw the ad and was like, I think I'm gonna try out for that. The girl who played the cook literally walked by the street and saw that there was auditions going on, and she just went and tried out. I did plays very briefly in junior high, and then just this past year we've been doing BeeKay Theatre plays.
Pretty much.
Well, I'm Craig. Obviously I play Wadsworth in Clue here at the BeeKay, and we've lived in Tehachapi for about 2.5 years and had spent many years down in LA before coming up here. I had seen when they were going to do A Christmas Story this past year, and that sounded really cool, but schedule-wise it didn't work out to go and audition for that. I knew I wasn't going to have the time. So then I was just kind of keeping an eye out, well, what else are they going to put on stage? And when Clue came along, I said, man, I got to go audition for that. It had been a really long time. I haven't auditioned in, maybe 20 years, and haven't been on stage for about 15 or so. So it's been a minute. I told my wife, I said, hey, I think I'm going to go audition for this. And she said, well, all right, have fun.
Dave Shacklock. I am a retired postal employee Been with the BeeKay Theatre since 1997. First play was The Odd Couple. Advertisement in the paper about auditions because I had tried other hobbies. So I tried basketball and my knees couldn't handle that, and I tried softball and I was horrible at that. But theater seemed like the thing to do. I could pull the curtain back or take tickets or do like a one-line part. Walked in the door and the director handed me a script. Said, what part do you want to play? And I said, how about Murray the Cop, one of the poker playing buddies. And he said, okay, here's your script. Rehearsal starts tomorrow. And I was hooked at that point.
My name is Melody Mateer, and I play Yvette from Clue. So we're passing by, and I see this huge poster saying Clue auditions, which is one of my favorite films of all time. So I was just like, I had to go. Even if I don't get the part, I'm just gonna go do it. I have a little bit of a history where I never had the guts to actually go perform. So I really wanted to try with this one. And I made a promise to myself, if I get a part, I'm gonna go 100% it. But I'm not gonna get a part. Next thing I know, I got called to play Yvette. I was super scared, but I kind of took a deep breath and decided to turn that switch on and become that French bimbo.
When you get on stage, you're not you. You're Mildred, or you're Mrs. Peacock, or you're the preacher's wife. It's the character, and the character can do and say the most craziest, silliest things. And that's what makes it so fun, is you get to step out of your earthbound reality and be this crazy or obnoxious or ridiculous person. I've been a member of the theater for probably over 25 years, I'm thinking, and it's a lot of fun and a lot of work. I was recently in the play Clue, and I had the pleasure of being Mrs. Peacock, and so I bought the hat and then added on to it, and then the glasses are also added onto. My daughter helped me create the glasses.
The props were fun. I felt like when I got my wig for Mrs. White, then I really could become the character, and then I got my rings, and I'm like, oh, let me get this prop, and that'll be fun. Mm-hmm. And then my first line,
murder weapons,
yeah,
and we all started like
oh
really
yeah,
playing
the murder
with it.
weapons.
I've watched plays before at the theater. I've seen a whole host of people. Some people I didn't even know lived in Tehachapi. Other people that I thought I've seen that person at the grocery store lots of times.
Just jump in and just step on the stage, and we'll help you with the rest.
Go audition. Don't be afraid. Just do it. If you're brand new, do it. I have 3 people on my stage who have never been in a show before. You can see when the auditions are coming up for shows, because I know all of you want to audition for shows, I'm sure. In fact, I'm excited, Addams Family coming up in the fall. It's going to be great. So, my name is Jason Wheeler. I am the director for Clue on Stage. That's the short version. The long version. I am the director. I orchestrated the music from score, built the set. I didn't dress the set. People who have much better taste than me dress the set. And of course, directed the show. I had a vision, and they brought it together. If you're interested in auditioning for a show with TCTA, it's always best to go to tctonstage.com. They always have what's coming up. This year is the year to start getting involved, because just so much to do. If you want to do tech, awesome. There's lighting, there's sound. If you want to build sets, that's always available. If all you want to do is paint, if you like painting. Jeanette Power, who heads up the Chamber of Commerce in town, is actually a phenomenal artist. She painted this in like 5 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She says, oh, no, that's no problem. I showed her a picture. I said, can you paint something like it? Obviously, we don't want to copyright. She says, yeah, I'll do something like it. And she just, blah, 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 and there, it was done. There's always stuff to do in a show. You don't have to be on stage, but if you want to be involved, there's obviously things you can do. If you just want to usher, it's great to be an usher. You get to watch the show for free as an usher. So that's awesome. There's an old classic refrigerator sitting right in the back. I thought, oh, I'll just use that, but it takes up way too much space. It stuck out so far that the first 5 seats over here wouldn't be able to see into the lounge.
Oh, yeah.
Well, luckily, somebody was just going to junk an old fridge. They said, well, I'll just rip the door off and you can have that. perfect. Bolt it to the wall, call it good. There you go. Anybody who says they can do it alone is fooling themselves and a liar. It takes a whole crew to pull off a show, including auditions. We spent our first several rehearsals at J Street, which is our second space, which doesn't have any heat. It was really cold.
Young Frankenstein actually rehearsed in there for 7 months during the winter, and there is no heat and it leaks. So it was a lot like being in Transylvania.
When we did Young Frankenstein, which I directed, we rehearsed over at the J Street location. It's very cold over there. We don't have a heater because it's a kind of a warehouse. Yeah. And water was seeping all the way through from the garage door to the front door. It was like I used to say a river ran through it.
So we were rehearsing in the middle of winter over there where there's no heat. That was pretty funny.
There's no heat, and it's drafty.
Oh my gosh, there was no heat. And the director, Jason, he brought a kerosene heater.
Jason brought a propane heater. So we would huddle around that.
I had my big giant shop heater. It kind of worked.
There was no heater in there except for a propane heater that could be brought in.
But it only would go so far. And so I brought in 2 little heaters, but the building's so old, we blew the fuses.
Everybody wanted to huddle around that heater. In fact, so much so that one person's jacket caught on fire.
Really?
Yes. All of a sudden, someone said, "You're on fire." I mean, really, you're actually on fire.
That was me. That was me. I did set myself on fire, and I guess that broke the ice.
Practice makes perfect at a place that's not perfect. I don't know how you want to put it, but yeah, it was an adventure, but we've all done it before.
But it was so worth it, and I feel like our cast had so much camaraderie that the weather couldn't possibly spoil the fun we had creating the characters and making the show all come together.
The rehearsals were great because from the get-go there was a fantastic chemistry. Everyone really got into their characters, and there was a lot of ideas from the cast to the director, so we're all pitching in ideas and making it more funny and amazing as we went.
Okay. I do want to kill them, telling them where I can't.
It's always better to be able to start rehearsals as early as possible before you hit the stage. That way you're not wasting time in the BeeKay, still learning. You already know.
Wash windows.
My type of directing is also, this is what I want. This is what I see in my head. Do this for me and tell me if it works, because I'm not sure if it does. You're up there, I'm not.
Working with Jason, actually Jason and Lisa both was great. The assistant director is Lisa.
Jason was fantastic as a director because of that he put the props in early, he put the
music,
he put the sound cues, the props, the set, all of that was like very early on in the process, which really helped us get
into the creativity.
One of the things I've been most impressed about with them is that they seem to have really looked at the people who showed up to audition and put them in the right place.
With Jason as our director, he has just been phenomenal. That's been one of my favorite director experiences that I've had ever. He's just great.
So I stole some of my kitchen and allowed it so that they can get past each other down through here. Set design, set building, set dressing. Design, putting it on paper. I did have a little help from Carhart, James Carhart. He's a professional. It's what he does for a living. My name is James Carhart. I am involved with the theater at TCTA at the BeeKay.
I was doing this one so that somebody could come in from here and be seen by everybody.
I am an art director in television, and so I thought I could do this to help the theater and keep live theater alive. I do sketches for them. I'll think of different floor plans, because to me, if the floor plan doesn't work, then the show doesn't work, no matter how pretty it is.
right to the edge there, okay? Keep going around.
I like the director to kind of let me know what their vision is. I have my own vision, and hopefully the two meet and we start from here and just come to a point to make the best possible production that we have.
Started this cleanup to make it better, because this right here is the stage that you're on. This is the stage that we rehearse on. But when we do 3 and 4 shows, what happens is this just gets filled with stuff and we have no more room to do anything. So we got in here, James Carhart, Dave Faber, myself, Lisa Meredith, Alex McKenzie, Blaine, Kenny Chugg, Crystal Wheeler. We went through it, and there's a big dumpster out in the back. We tossed things away. We hung our pictures on the wall so we can find them now when we do shows. We've got our rugs. We've got all our stuff organized. Whatever you need, you got it now. When people ask, I want to be part of TCT, what do I do? Come and show up, because we've got costumes and we've got props and we've got painting, and there's so much to tell anybody what can you do. You gotta be here. You just gotta see it.
It was worth it, definitely.
It was a good show.
It was amazing. The actors were all great. It was a lot of fun for our teenagers and us to go see and spend the afternoon.
Oh, it was really great. It was funny, it was lively, and shots scared everybody.
I thought it was fantastic. I thought the cast was amazing. We've seen a lot of plays here, and I just thought the power of each character was so distinct and hilarious.
That was a really good play. Mrs. Peacock's facial expressions were absolutely fantastic.
It was a delight, I gotta say.
I thought it was hilarious. I thought all the actors did a great job. Very colorful.
My sister-in-law was in it. She was wonderful.
What did your sister-in-law?
Jackie Walters.
Miss Peacock. That's right.
She brought the house down.
You have a good director and you have a great cast and a great set builder. I just adore the place, so I'm biased, but it does work. So keep it up. Thank you.
And one more thing I'd like to add is, I don't know if the audience realizes how much they contribute.
Which is a really important thing, is the interaction with the crowd. People might think that they're 10 to 15 to 50 feet away, they're not going to be into it as much, but you can really feel energy back and forth from the audience.
When an audience is laughing, or you can hear them say little things like, I think she did it. That just fuels the actors on stage.
In the first Frankenstein I did, the original one, I got to jump off a 4-foot stage and you know, roar at the crowd and really get them involved.
And Frankenstein jumped off the stage and ran through the audience, and people screamed, and I probably screamed.
Because whenever they react to something, it just makes it all the better, and you want to try all the harder.
We appreciate that kind of response from people, whether it's scaring them like the original Frankenstein or making them laugh with the young Frankenstein character.
And so when you're in the audience, laugh and laugh loud.
Okay, so that's about it for my episode on the BeeKay Theatre, at least the content of the BeeKay Theatre. I'm going to be doing another episode about the mural that's painted on the outside of it. And for that, I've interviewed some historians and even some of the people that are depicted in the mural. So keep an eye out for that. That's a big project for me. I did so many interviews and so much footage for this episode that I couldn't include in the final thing. It'd have been an hour-and-a-half long feature film if I'd have done that. I didn't get to interview all the actors that were in Clue. I didn't get to interview all the people that are involved with the TCTA. But I want to give a special shout out to Chris Morales, who provided me with some really cool B-roll for this episode. And same with James Carhart, who gave me all of those diagrams I shared with you in the video. But I want to give a special shout out, special thanks to Gary Mazzola. He was the first person that I contacted in the BeeKay, and he opened some doors for me, gave me a great interview and lots of material to show you. In fact, speaking of Gary Mazzola, check this out.
I've been known to put concerts on here. I've done 7 or 8 concerts here. I did a concert called Red Shoes and Blue Mustard. We shot it like a television show. A friend came up and put up 4 cameras and we shot it. We edited it together, and we had 16-channel mix of it, and I mixed it down. It came out pretty good. It's on YouTube, called Red Shoes and Blue Mustard, Gary Mazzola and Friends.
So that's pretty cool. You can check that out on YouTube. Anyways, I've left a lot of information in the show notes below. How to get in contact with the BeeKay, with the TCTA, how to submit your own play. If you have an original play, there's a way you can submit that.
We are always looking for plays for people to submit. If you have an original play you want to submit, send it to info@tctonstage.com, and I will make sure it gets to the people that review the plays and select the seasons.
There's so much information below, so just make sure you check that all out. And until next time, take it easy.